Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Amigos Play. This is Aaron. Tonight we're going to be taking a look at the popular platformer, Zool 2. Zool was a game released in 1993. It came out for the AGA chipset Amigas. There was also an OCS ECS version. And in 1994, there was a CD32 release of this particular game. This game was not very well ported. It only appeared on the Amiga, the CD32 if you count that as a port, the PC, and the Atari Jaguar. I happen to own the Jaguar copy, so somewhere down the line, we'll probably take a look at that one as well. So we're going to start off here. I am not a great hand at this, but I can do okay. You'll notice that much like the first Zool, this one is very colorful with a lot of stuff going on. Zool was known for the large amount of pickups that are on the screen, and you will find that there are a million billion pickups. This game works a little bit differently than a lot of games of this genre. A lot of platform games, you simply run through the stage and get to the end and leave. In Zool, you can run to the end and you're boned. If you look in the middle of the top bar, slightly to the left, there's a percentage and a number there. That tells you the percentage of collectibles you have obtained in order to leave the level. You have to get 100%. Then you can go to the end where a little logo will open up that you can jump up on and click on, or jump up on, and you'll leave the level. This game was, as I mentioned, the sequel to a very popular game. Zool was a very well advertised game. It had a lot of press when it came out, and sure enough, this one did as well. The original Zool, which came out in '92, so it wasn't too long before they had a sequel. It was released on many different platforms. The Archimedes, the Atari ST, the Game Boy had a port. The Super Nintendo, the Game Gear even had a port. The PC, the Master System, the Genesis. So this game was certainly not as widely spread as the first one, which is strange to me because the first one was incredibly popular on the Amiga. I'm not sure how well it did on the other systems, and I'm guessing that might be the reason that it did not get such a wide release when the sequel came around. There are a choice of characters in this, as you saw. I chose Zool. There's also Zoos, which is the sort of the girl ninja. They're pretty similar, except for the fact that each of them have different destructible environments that they can affect. For example, there may be a wall that Zoos can go through that Zool can't, and vice versa. Pretty much the controls are about the same as the first one. They've made it easier to climb, I will say that, and they have the controls are tighter. There's no doubt. I mean, this is a better game than Zool 1. There's no doubt about it. The problem for me was I just was not the biggest fan of the original Zool. Not that it didn't have its charm, because it did, but what bothered me was what made it different, which was collecting all the stuff. It's just too much. There's too much stuff on the screen. There's too much going on. Another thing that is a real problem for me, and if you listen to our episode on Zool or Zool 2, which we just did Zool 2 the week of the release of this video, the stages are not particularly well done. This was supposed to be sort of a Sonic style game. I mean, if you play this, you'll notice that Zool really can go, and Zoos. And the problem is, a lot of the level, when you play it, you can't see where you're going. So there's a lot of blind jumps. And if you'll notice that when you play a Sonic game, they have constructed the levels in a way that makes running like a dang maniac through the levels fun. This game, that's a certain way to die. I will say that. You can't run through these helter-skelter, despite the fact that your ant can run and slide and has some cool moves. They did a good job taking advantage of the Amiga controls. Again, this game is up for jump on the AGA and the OCS ECS. I have not played this on the CD32 with that controller, so I don't know. But I'm assuming they put a jump button in for that, which would probably help quite a bit. Much like Boat, when it comes to up for jump, I just always find it a bit of a trial. Some games I get used to it. This game requires some real pinpoint, like here, for example. You really have to have pinpoint accuracy with your jumps, and they're, like I said, they're often blind jumps, and you've got to be really quick. And up for jump makes that a difficult task. I don't necessarily blame the guys over at the Warp Factory who developed this for that. It's just they were just playing the hand they were dealt with the Amiga, and it's one button. It's funny that the Warp Factory, it was the developer for this particular game, and they didn't have a lot of stuff on the Amiga. They had a couple unreleased games, and then they had a game called Battlebound, a game called Harlequin. That's pretty much it. And Zool 2 was really the last thing they ever worked on the Amiga. Now, what I find odd about that is, again, Zool 1 was quite popular, and it was developed in-house by Gremlin. I don't know why they would have farmed it out, or maybe perhaps, and I've not been able to find this out, maybe the Warp Factory is some sort of, spin-off or whatnot, but I don't think so. I think it's a completely different developer, and it's odd that they would do that. Now, that much said, I think the Warp Factory did a good job. They actually showed a lot of programming prowess here, in my opinion. The backgrounds on this are very nice. They're multiplanar, which is always nice, and the scrolling is nice. This definitely had a different coder, so it was a new team pretty much that worked on this one, which gives one pause as to wonder why. But perhaps Gremlin had other things on their plate, and they decided to, like I said, to get rid of this to another developer. But the developer did a good job. I think they exceeded the first one in pretty much every aspect. You'll notice Zool has an aerial move that's kind of wacky. But the thing about this, if you've really seen one level, you've seen them all in a lot of ways. I mean, and here we can exit. That we got just enough fruit to get out, or enough goodies. There's a little fireworks display, and off we go to the second level. So I think that's a pretty good look at what you're going to be doing in Zool. It's not a game that I go back to, but it's not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. I enjoy it. So until next time, this is Aaron and the Amigos saying we'll see you next time. Adios.